Hello, hello, my panda pals, and welcome back. Before we get started, I wanted to say thank you to everyone for all of their patience, and especially to those who reached out via email during my absence. I really appreciate that you guys took the time to check in on me and make sure everything was okay. Just to reassure everyone, I am fine. Last week, life just threw the biggest bucket of lemons in my face, and I was just busy making lemonade. And sure, that lemonade was probably the bitterest lemonade that was ever made on the face of this earth, but make it I did. With that said, we are now back to our regularly scheduled programming, and today we are going to be kicking it off with part 1 of Happily Ever After, Season 8, Episode 11. Today in the ring, we got Pat and Thais, we got Gino and Jasmine, we have Kobe and Emily, and we got Ed and Liz. Chapters will be in the description like always, so you can skip any couples that make you see red. And with that, I'm happy to say, sit down, buckle up, and let's go for a ride. Let's start things off with Pat and Thais. Last episode, John arrives in Brazil and Thais is super mad at Pat for leaving her on her birthday to go and hang out with him. Pat tells us that he feels bad him and Thais got into a fight on her birthday because he did not ask her father for his blessing, but now he's gonna be a good husband by going off to meet John so that he can give her some space. I get that sometimes space is good after an argument, but your wife literally told you that she is upset that you are leaving, so maybe not the optimal choice. John and Pat sit down for a beer, and Pat asks John if he has texted Thais yet, wishing her a happy birthday since it is her birthday. And John is like, golly gee, I forgot about that. And then he goes on to say that he's not gonna text her and instead he'll wish her a happy birthday in person. And Pat is like, yeah, that might not be the best idea because she does not know that we know that you are staying with us while you are here.
You didn't tell her?
I kind of skated that one by.
Oh, that's gonna be marvelous.
Pat tells us that John is always making his life difficult, and for his trip to Brazil, he assumed he could just crash at their apartment and did not bother booking a hotel. He goes on to tell John that him and Thais did meet up with Carlos today and they were able to hear each other out. However, it did feel a bit awkward near the end.
He wanted me to kiss the ring, but Thais didn't really like the fact that I wasn't
Oh, she wanted you to just bow down? We don't kiss rings in this family.
John goes on to say that there needs to be mutual respect, and while I do agree, they did not tell Carlos about the marriage until the very last hour, and that is not a very respectful thing to do. Pat goes on to tell John that their father came to visit and see Elise, and that he brought a bunch of paint and a long list of things that he wanted Pat to do and fix up around the apartment.
Thais was a little upset because she thinks he asked a lot from me.
Well, I mean, you are his income and his bread and butter, aren't you?
John laughs pretty maniacally and says that this is the first time he thinks that him and Thais actually agree on something. He tells us that he's glad Thais has some common sense to not trust Jose because he is a no bueno guy. John goes on to tell Pat that Jose is probably using him because, let's be honest, he's not the best father.
Well, you never held anything against him ever.
Yeah, because he's my family. He's my dad.
Well, yeah, sometimes family sucks.
Pat and John return to the apartment, and Thais is immediately pissed because she has to look at John's face, and they both smell like alcohol. John tries to diffuse the tension by singing her happy birthday, and Thais is like, thanks, guy that I hate. And he goes on to give her the best birthday gift ever.
He messed up his reservation at the hotel.
What do you mean messed up?
You mind if he stays here for a couple nights?
Moving on to Gino and Jasmine. Last episode, Gino supports Jasmine when she says she wants to enter the beauty pageant, hoping that she will eventually change her mind about wanting to have his babies. It is a new day and Gino and Jasmine are at the gym working on their fitness.
I'm gonna be a beauty queen, and that makes you a beauty king, and you have to look accordingly.
Jasmine says that she is 110% focused on getting into shape for the pageant, and Gino needs to now step up and get on her level.
You have to lose 15 pounds, especially the ones that are all accumulated in your gut after eating frozen dinners for years.
Jasmine tells us that focusing on the pageant and working out has been great at helping her depression because it is shifting her focus away from the fact that her kids are not here and that her mom is sick in Panama without her. She brings Gino to the ropes where he almost bursts a blood vessel in his brain. Then she has him hold the punching bag for her where she accidentally kicks him in the leg.
Oh!
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Did I?
After kicking him, Jasmine brings up the fact that Elena, the pageant lady, has informed her that Gino has yet to pay the registration fees and he needs to get on that because they only have a week left. Gino, with his, we're about to get into a fight about money again face, goes on to tell Jasmine that pageant fees were way more expensive than he anticipated and that immigration fees have also skyrocketed and that getting her permanent residency was his #1 priority. To which Jasmine is like, oh, honey baby, are we having money problems? Is money stressful? Get a job.
All you do is taking naps and being in the computer.
No, I don't waste my time. I read about stuff that's important.
I never understood why Gino had to leave his job because Jasmine was coming to the States. She is a fully functioning, able-bodied adult. I mean, he goes on to say that Jasmine is finally getting up on her feet, so he's starting to feel more comfortable with the idea of going back into the workforce. But everything we have seen her do so far, she could have done while he was at work. So Jasmine calls Gino her perpetual dream crusher and that he should have told her in Miami that he did not know if they could afford the pageant instead of letting her go on to daydream about it this whole time. Gino tells her he needs to look over all of their finances and tells her that they should just head home. Jasmine is like, hell no, we still have 40 minutes left for this workout. And Gino is like, no, I'm not working out. I can't, let's go home. And Jasmine throws her hands up and leaves incredibly frustrated. She goes on to tell us that Gino loves making decisions over every aspect of her life and that he's trying to control her, which scares her because she doesn't like being in a vulnerable and submissive position.
I rely on him financially. He hasn't provided me like credit card. I cannot even buy tampons by myself.
I don't love that Jasmine cannot hop on over to a Walgreens and pick her up some coochie cotton, but she also does not make the best financial decisions. So yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. Maybe just give her like an authorized card with a very modest spending limit. The pair are in the car heading home from the gym and Gino tells her that he's gonna take a quick stop to get a smoothie because he has not eaten anything today, and that is nuts considering he was planning on doing strength training for at least 45 minutes.
Gino wants a smoothie, we made time for the smoothie. It's just what you want, when you want it, all the time.
Why are you so bitchy today? Is it that time of the month?
Jasmine calls him an idiot for saying that, and I agree. And she tells him that she wishes he would bleed out of his ass so he knows what it felt like. And I mean, the bleeding is like 15% of why menstruation sucks. It's mostly the 50% getting punched in the gut nonstop while feeling like your insides are gonna be outside every time you stand up, and then like 35% being chronically disgusted in yourself and wishing that you didn't suck so freaking hard. Jasmine is beyond frustrated at the amount of control she thinks Gino has over her life. She's got no money of her own, she can't go anywhere without him driving her there, blah 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 blah. They get their smoothies and Gino sits down outside with a shitty little grin like he's telling her, why don't we take our time and enjoy ourselves?
What you're doing?
What's the problem?
Why couldn't I finish my cardio and all of a sudden we have time to be here?
Gino tells her to not have a crap attack just because she could not get a few extra minutes of cardio in, and Jasmine says that it's not even about the cardio and she is sick and tired of being in Gino land where everything is about him and she can't do anything that she wants.
You're acting crazy.
Jasmine takes a deep breath to keep herself from ending this man and tells him that the pageant was the one thing that has brought her happiness since she came to America because it wasn't about her being a wife or a daughter, it was just about her being her.
You wanna sabotage it? I see the smirk on your face. You're enjoying this because I rely on you and every aspect of my life.
Gino tells her that he told her at the gym that he was gonna go home to figure out how they could pay for the pageant, and Jasmine is like, no, and then she again just loses her absolute mind.
Your pad, I should be on my knees. Oh my gosh, thank you. You brought me to America. Oh my gosh, should I kiss your feet?
All I gotta say is Jasmine is definitely working her hardest to earn her keep on this show. Do I believe that there are people out there in the world that are that insane? Yeah, absolutely. But do I also think that this is just stupid? Yes, absolutely. Gino calls her nuts, and Jasmine, convinced that Gino is trying to sabotage her to prove his power over her, just walks away. Gino goes and chases after her and tells her to stop being so dramatic, and Jasmine continues to be dramatic and call him a power-hungry son of a bitch and throws his smoothie on the ground.
I'm gonna go home and take the shoes that you bought me.
Where are you going?
Home!
Girl is gonna regret taking off those shoes in about 2 seconds. She goes on to say that if she had the choice, she would choose not to love him anymore. And I'm like, girl, please show me the gun that is pointed at you, forcing you to love this man. Show me. Next up, we have Emily and Kobe. Last episode, Emily's mom expresses her concern about the bride price, saying that she feels like she's selling her daughter like she's an object, and Kobe's cousin confirms her fears when he says that wives are property. Yikes. Emily's mom expresses that she does not like people being referred to as property, and Kobe's cousin tries to explain again and says, so when we say property, we mean like, we own the wife now, like the wife is ours, which does not sound any better. And I have to believe that this is a lost in translation kind of situation because Kobe does interject to say that he can't believe Felix used that word property because Emily's parents are just focusing on that one word and they're just still not getting it. So in my opinion, when Felix says that the wife is our property and tries to very poorly go on to explain it as the wife belongs to us, I think he means that the groom's family will fully absorb the wife. This is why the wife takes on the groom's family name and why when the bride passes on, they are buried with the groom's side of the family. In a way, it's basically saying, hey, now that they're married, we're adding her to our family tree. That is what I think they are trying to convey. They are just using the worst possible word for it.
You definitely get it in the wrong way. We are responsible for her. She belongs to our family. We'll treat her like we'll treat our sister.
Emily's parents feel so much better about the bride price after hearing Kobe explain it, and they go forward with the knock door and share the meal that Emily prepared. Kobe's family sings Emily's praises, saying that for her first time cooking Cameroonian food, she did a great job. Everyone hugs it out, and this knock door can be marked a success.
It's a great step, towards my family officially accepting Emily as my wife.
Kobe gets home and is super excited that the knock door was such a success. And while Emily does share in his happiness, her face definitely stinks of a sit down because we need to talk.
I want to talk about the unsettling in my mind, about what Valerie brought up to me, about your ex-girlfriend.
Emily tells Kobe that they need to meet his ex-girlfriend, and Kobe is like, oh, what? No, we don't have to meet her. And Emily's like, well, why are you getting so defensive? Kobe does not want to pick a fight about this, so he goes ahead and texts his ex-girlfriend to set up a meeting. I don't really know what meeting his ex-girlfriend is going to accomplish. It does feel a little bit unnecessary. But I guess Emily thinks that this is the best way for her to really figure out when they actually broke up.
I hope you find your answers to whatever quest you have in your mind.
I hope I do too.
Lastly, Ed and Liz. Last episode, Liz and Riley packed up their things to leave, and Ed is so torn up about the breakup that he thinks, God, do I now have to do the cleaning myself? Or do I have to hire someone to do it? It is a new day in Arkansas, and Ed is on the road to meet his boss at a new house that was just built.
Route recalculation.
Oh,
Route recalculation.
are you kidding me?
Route recalculation.
While watching Ed just constantly miss turns and having the GPS have to reroute, I wondered, maybe he should have changed the voice to a male voice. Maybe then he would actually listen. Ed tells us that it's inevitable to feel lonely and miss the relationship, but he's still very confident he made the right decision not to marry Liz, and now is choosing to dive headfirst into his career as a real estate agent.
It's a bittersweet moment. I mean, up until about a few weeks ago, I thought I'd be doing all of this with Liz, and now, she's gone.
Heading over to San Francisco, we see Liz and Riley at the airport. Now, Liz gets Riley during all of her breaks, but during the school year, she's with her dad and stepmom in another country, and now it's time for her to head back. Liz tells us that she cannot believe that she was supposed to be crying right now, walking down the aisle towards Ed at their wedding. She goes on to say that she wishes that she never even met Ed and instead met someone who treated her like an actual human being. After sending Riley off, Liz is in the car and she calls her mother.
She's on her first flight.
Does Ed even know that she's gone?
No.
Has he even called you?
No.
God, what a prick.
Liz starts to cry, telling her mom that she's so embarrassed because everyone around her knew this was gonna happen, but she just didn't want to believe it. And she goes on to say that if she really truly believed that this was gonna happen, she would have never gotten Riley involved. She says Ed was so different in therapy and she feels so stupid with how things turned out.
I am left with nothing. I don't have an apartment. I don't have a job. Here I am crying over him, and he could care less about me.
And that, my Panda Pals, is all I have for you today. If you liked this video and you are not subscribed to this channel yet, please do consider subscribing so that you can join this awesome Panda posse. I hope to see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye!